What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me on this Masters Sunday is Luis Barranco. Even though this is a baseball podcast. Luis, how you doing?
Bro, that was a crappy Masters. Let me just be honest for you. Like, Tiger not having sex, it made no difference. Like, sexless Tiger, it made no difference. Like, people just keep going back to glory days, but can we just be honest? I don't want to say wash the dishes, but it's time, bro. It's time for you to move up to the Champions Tour. You know.
Hey, you got to give credit to Scotty. It looked like there for a while, at least, that there was going to be at least a playoff, considering there was four guys tied at 600 in the front nine, and then it was just over. Scotty was too good.
Scotty's a unit, bro.
He's just a machine. Man. He shows no emotion. Just an absolute machine. He's a great golfer. Congrats to him.
It's crazy.
Second Masters championship.
It's crazy because you think the big three right now is JT, Spieth, and Scotty. That's the big three.
Yeah. I don't even know if there's a direct big three just because so many different guys win every week. But I think Scheffler is very obviously the best golfer there is now. And he's been probably the best for a few years now.
Have you seen the full swing on him from season one?
Nah, I didn't get into the full swing. And I'm going to be honest, those shows, and I'll be curious to see getting into the baseball, how the Red Sox one is, but they're all of those sports shows are trying to replicate what F1 did in America. F1 show, Drive to Survive, made that sport popular in America. And we've had tennis try to do that. Football, the NFL, they probably did a good job with the quarterback show. They're coming back with more on that.
Receivers.
Who else did? NASCAR did one. Who the hell watched that NASCAR show?
I watched the NASCAR one. I did. I watched the NASCAR. I watched 2 episodes and it was all right. But definitely the full swing was interesting because I feel like golf's a very individual game. I feel like in every sport you kind of know what's going on, and I kind of feel like what also helped F1 too was that it was a crazy season. That it was just it came down to the final race that it kind of just worked in their favor, and they also had a worldwide pandemic where everybody was at home and you couldn't go. So you were limited on what sporting events that were on and what sporting events you can actually look at. And at that point it was a Key Home Heroes baseball, But that's golf. Congratulations, Scotty Scheffler. We're here talking baseball. It has been an eventful weekend of ball. Did you go out in Chicago? I know the weather was actually pretty nice up there. Did you go to any games this weekend?
Well, no, the Cubs were in Seattle, and the White Sox they're 2-13. It was the worst start in the franchise's history, actually. And they've been around for 123 years. People forget that the White Sox are one of the most historic teams, one of the oldest teams, and they're off to their worst start, and things could not be going worse for them. Feel bad for the fans. So no, I didn't go out to any games, but I know you were able to attend a game in Miami. How was it? Friday night.
So I it's very weird. I know William was probably shocked waking up this morning to a text message saying, "Oh yeah, the document's up." William usually does the preview documents, and I bet you William was like, "What's going on? The document's already done by 10:45, 9:30 in the morning."
I was very happy. I was appreciative.
William was probably cracking his eggs in a bagel in the morning in his apartment, getting ready to watch.
Actually, that's exactly what I did. I cracked my eggs, got the bagel going, watched Arsenal blow another league.
Hey, there's still 6-7 games left, man. You never know.
It's been a rough day. Yankees lose. Arsenal season probably over. Anyways, yeah, keep going. Yeah.
So, I was inspired. I was definitely not myself this morning, but I was inspired to get and start writing. I actually attended the Marlins Braves game on Friday night, and I'll be honest to you, it was the Marlins are awful. I am about to just stop giving them a benefit of the doubt. They're a really bad team. And there's just so much wrong we can unpack with that team that not even from a talent perspective, management, and even the stadium is just everything's just wrong with that team. So I live about 20 minutes. For example, the first thing is the stadium. I don't want to say it's one of the best stadiums in the league, but it's middle for a new stadium.
It's pretty.
It's okay.
I'll say it's pretty when the roof is open. I saw the roof was open today. It actually looked pretty nice.
The roof was open all weekend. They've had the roof open. The weather's been very nice, so they've had the roof open. I mean, that doesn't help Jazz Chisholm and other players with all the shadows that they'll complain because the roof's open. I mean, if you want to have a roof closed, you should end up going up north 3 hours and playing in Tampa. You know?
Yeah.
And
that's
so,
what
so it took me, I left my apartment around 6:30 to get to a 7:10 start time. I was there's only two ways to get there, through the interstate or through the back roads. And I was 7:10 waiting in the interstate line trying to get off. I was standing there for like a good 30 minutes. Not 30, but 30 minutes.
I remember I was there for the WBC game, and the traffic's awful. There's only like those few parking garages.
It's awful, and it's terrible, and attendance wise. And so, like, you made a text message saying, "Man, I can't believe you had to experience them. We finally experienced how bad the Marlins are because you've been on that train, and you watched them last week against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium." And I decided to do a little bit of research. So, this team is 28th in attendance and has been one of the worst attended teams in Major League Baseball for the past 5 to 10 seasons.
I mean, if we're being honest, ever since the new stadium, the attendance has not been good.
Well, you would also think just like in a part of town geographically it would be better if, like, for people that aren't familiar with the city of Miami, their stadium used to be in between two cities. It used to play at the Hard Rock, but now they play in the middle of the city, like right smack dab in the middle of the city, which is pretty accessible for everybody yet. It ranked 28th in attendance. The offense ranks 27th in runs, 26th in batting average, 30th in slugging, 28th in on-base percentage. A lot of those guys just really they're not MLB quality starters. They're MLB quality utility guys or quality
I mean, Vidal Brujan, Rays reject. I was on this in the preview pod. I was saying that they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I was very, very, very hard on that under. And,
they're definitely
horrible. What are they? 2-13?
They won yesterday. They blew today's game. Ozuna from the Braves hit a nuke out the center on the 0-2, 2 out, slider down in the way that you should have no business swinging at that. But of course, he swings it and just takes it out right dead center for like 400 feet. But
he's been really good. He's been good.
Yeah. They're 25th in errors. They're 26th in ERA, 29th in WHIP, 30th in walks, giving 5 walks per game. And so, those numbers can just tell you, okay, well, it's a talent problem. But it's not even a talent problem. It stems from the top. I mean, when your freaking manager, Skip Schumacher, who is very respected, I'm a big fan of him, takes your team to the playoffs last year. He takes to the playoffs last year. And then before the season even starts, you void his option to return next year. So, and he's going to explore all options.
I think that's very clear. That makes it very clear that he's not coming back next year. And I think it is interesting that their whole marketing campaign around them heading into the season, Skip It, was around the manager, and he's not even going to be coming back next year.
And their attendance is such a big problem. The thing that they do just to get anybody on Wednesdays, you can take it's a lot of Latin influence. It's like take your abuelito or abuelita, so your grandma or grandma, to the game, which basically means anybody over the age of 65 can get in for free on Wednesdays. That's some AAA BS. No, just that's minor league stuff.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
$52 all you can eat tickets. I
saw that. I saw the guy, and he was downing hot dogs or something. I saw the tweet about it. Yeah,
I'm definitely doing a 9 for 9 one of these days. Definitely gonna do the 9 for 9. The 9 hot dogs and 9 beers per inning. I will definitely attempt
9 hot dogs, 9 beers, 9 innings. I don't think that's possible for me. I think I would throw up everywhere.
It's possible. And then here's the other thing. Those are just things, but just there's so much more going on with their attendance that, for example, they decided to put a club into the stadium and left field next to the home bullpen. that club, it's literally you will be like, I don't want to say dead silence, but you will literally just be there and you'll literally hear Little John Get Low blasting from the club in the middle of the game. I'm like, what is going on? And like you can just tell the people they just don't care. Like they just don't care. Like the baseball culture is awful. And finally, they do Thursdays. You can work remotely from the stadium. You buy a ticket and they'll give you like a way for you can bring your laptop and you can work remote, like with like seating.
They have Wi-Fi?
Yes, they're gonna give you they'll give you Wi-Fi and you can bring your laptop and everything. You can work remote like on Thursdays.
Oh, so you're not even watching the game then? Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's not a that's a creative idea. I don't know if that's serving much of a purpose by basically saying you can come sit in the stadium, not watch the game, just do your work. I don't know that. I don't know how to feel about that one. That's an interesting. I'll see how many people actually do that.
They're doing so. They're trying to do so much, man. It's hard for them, man. They got Peter Bendix, who right now is coming under fire because he didn't do anything. I mean, Bruce Sherman has always ranked bottom 10 in payroll ever since he's owned the team since 2017 because he bought the team from Loria, and he hasn't done anything.
And Loria was cheap too. Now Loria got the stadium, but fans were not happy that the had to pay for it through tax money, and he cut salary significantly in the late 2000s, and then build the stadium, and then even after the stadium, and then we know Sherman took over and made all those trades, traded away Giancarlo, traded away Yelich, and all of a sudden, and we talk about it all the time, like a promising team with players that, like Yelich, Realmuto, Stanton. I mean, Stanton won an MVP in 2017. He's the best player in the league, obviously, by far that year. And yeah, there was optimism. There was reason for hope. And obviously, the unfortunate passing of Jose Fernandez, that was kind of out of their control. But they had a bright future, and for a lot of reasons, a lot to do with ownership and just them being cheap, they're irrelevant now. Totally irrelevant. And for a team, like you always talk about it, Miami has the potential to be such a great baseball city, and because of all the the different cultures there, and it's just not, for whatever reason, it's just not. People don't care. Now, I will say people don't care about sports in general in that city. It seems like even the Heat, no one shows up to those games unless they're in the Game 7 of the NBA Finals, it seems. So
no, it's just hard here because I feel like where the stadium is, I feel like if you put it more like in a residential area, people would give more of a crap about going than actually having it in downtown, closer to downtown. So I mean, it's just very bad management. I mean, look at their payroll. They've dedicated over 90 million in money, and so
that's nothing.
16 million is going to Josh Bell, 16 and a half, and then 12 to Avisail Garcia, and then a raise is 10.6, and that's pretty much it. Everybody else is making under 10. Everybody's on like a 1-year contract. Everybody on this, like the 26 man, the 40 man is on a 1-year deal, except for Sandy, Avisail Garcia, and Josh Bell's a free agent after 24. So,
yeah, Jazz Chisholm is not good at baseball, unfortunately.
He's good. I just feel like the problem is, and I had this debate with one of the guys there. He was like, "Oh, he would be great on the Yankees." I'm like, I don't know if he
no.
I don't think he would be able to. You got to let him breathe in a way. You don't want to take away what makes him great. He's like very off the cuff. And so it's just super sad. And like, I'm going to go look at the box score because there was one, I forgot this dude's name, but it was awful. So like, I just feel like the whole team, I don't want to say quit the whole team's or give up, but I just feel like it's kind of like looking up from the top rope. It's kind of like, oh man, like it's tough because
I mean, yeah, sorry.
It was the 7th inning on the Friday game. The Friday was April
12th, yeah.
So it was a competitive game. Max Reed got together, did well, and then they put in Marlins had Tanner Rogers who pitched decently, and then they put in Andrew Nardi.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Nardi, poor guy, he is a lefty, and his ERA is 12.27 in 9 games this season. He's pitched 7 innings of work. He didn't retire a single batter. He had 2 walks, 2 earned runs, and 1 hit, and it could have been way worse. It's just sad. Like, they're putting dudes like he has a 12 ERA and he's pitched 9 games. At that point, it was like 11, but he's pitched 8 games already. Like, out of everybody, like in the pen, you don't have anybody in the minors or somebody you can just put up there.
Yeah, it's grim.
I don't know what you do with that team. So that's the crazy thing. Like, there's no easy repair, and it's sad because they've had a way to find talent, but they just haven't found a way to get all the talent to work. Because theoretically, if they decided to keep Stanton, Yelich, and Realmuto together, say Fernandez doesn't go through what happened, that's a very good team.
Yeah, of course.
Even then, without
they paid Stanton too. It's not like they were the ones that gave him that contract.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just hard. It's very like there's not a reason you go to Marlins games only to go see Jazz and who else. So
nobody. Yeah, let's move on from the Marlins. They're rough. They're not a good team this year, and I feel bad for the fans. They deserve better, of course.
I'll definitely be pulling up to the nightclub and saying, "Hey, the one positive is concessions aren't bad. Like the prices, concession prices. I paid for two adult beverages, and they were $26, $28, $28.
Okay,
they're not bad.
Not bad. Not bad.
If you go to Soldier Field, you're probably paying $20 for each adult beverage.
I think, I don't know. I can't say. Wrigley probably be about the same, but yeah. I think we need to talk about the biggest story in the sport. I know you don't really like talking about it that much for whatever reason, but I think it's one of the biggest stories in the history of the sport. If we're being honest,
it's not. I just think it's overblown. I mean, it's kind of like I don't know what is there to analyze. What is there to discuss?
I'm glad that we can talk about Ippei and his massive gambling problem. I mean, I think when the story first dropped in the middle of March, like there was certainly a lot of question marks around like Ohtani and his involvement, and was he the one betting, and was he betting on baseball? And there was a lot of reason for skepticism and conspiracy theories. And I think later in this week, Thursday and Friday, that they were mostly debunked when it came out that Ippei Mizuhara, the translator for Ohtani, stole roughly $16 million from him. He's being charged with felony bank fraud, which comes with a maximum sentence of 30 years, which is crazy. I don't think a fall guy which is what a lot of people are saying, is going to be willing to spend 30 years in prison, or at least run the risk of spending 30 years in prison. Just the sheer amount of bets that this guy made. 19,000 bets totaling hundreds of millions of dollars from, 2021 fall to in January of 2024. Mizuhara lost roughly $40 million to gambling. The money he used to pay those debts came from Ohtani's baseball salary bank account, which he set up in 2018, and he did not allow Ohtani's agent, Nez Balelo, I think this is an important note, or any of Ohtani's financial advisors monitor that bank account. And then Mizuhara began impersonating Ohtani as he tried to talk to bank employees to gain access to his account. He wired at least $15 million between February 22 and October 23 to an account associated with illegal bookmakers. And I mean, there was no evidence of Ohtani placing bets. They went through all of his texts. There was no evidence of any bets on baseball. There was no discussion between the two about gambling. Ohtani did not authorize Mizuhara to transfer that money. And I mean, I think the biggest takeaway from this past week is Mizuhara is just an absolute degenerate gambler scumbag. And I feel bad for Ohtani, because this is like Ohtani's best friend. I mean, he was with him all the time, every day. And they became really close. And it's like, he basically stabbed him in the back. And now he's out a friend. I mean, he's his best friend. And I don't know, it's a sad story.
Well, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And I would just advise if you know anybody that gambles in your family or that has a gambling addiction, to please reach out to the right people so they can obtain help and they can battle because addiction's a very sad thing, and it's like
Yeah.
you do have to feel bad for Ippei because it's you're probably releasing. And if we had Armand on the podcast, he could probably just go through the whole neurological circuit,
Mhm.
the dopamine release that you're getting through winning, and serotonin levels increase in dopamine, just that excitement of winning, making money by just betting on a team. So what I'd like to say is just very unfortunate situation, and I just hope he gets help. So that's all that I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. He made an average of 25 bets a day between December of 21 and January of 24, ranging from $10 to 160K, an average of 12K per bet.
Jeez.
The winnings went from or they went to Mizuhara's personal account rather than Ohtani's. He won $142 million and lost $182 million. So obviously a huge net loss there. And he appeared in court on Friday in LA and surrendered to authorities, was released on a 25K bond, and will return to court for the next hearing May 9th. I think this is an important. I just think it answered a lot of questions, and I think at this point, if people are still buying into the conspiracy theory, you're kind of just a hater, and I don't know why people were rooting for that to happen. Like, why would you want the best player in the sport that is genuinely a joy to watch play, the best player any of us have seen in our lifetime?
I'm not.
Why would you
I'm
want him to
not. I'm
go
just.
away?
I'm just interested in
I know,
conspiracy.
I know, I know you. I know you don't think that way, but I'm just saying, like, there are people out there that it seems like they were
You
rooting
thought
for
I.
Ohtani to fail.
You thought I did when I was studying conspiracy theories. Like, oh my god, look at a group. I literally woke up Friday morning. I'm bro. I'm just reading conspiracy theories. It's
Well,
it's different. It's different permutations.
people nowadays with the internet and Twitter and Reddit and all of these, weird
Hey,
places of the
hey,
internet,
hey, hey,
people
hey,
people can read anything on the internet,
hey.
or they can form any opinion and find something on the internet that makes it, validates their opinion, whether it's true or not. There's so much false stuff out there that you can think of anything and find something on the internet that backs up your theory.
Hey, you're coming at my sources of media where I read a lot. Whoa.
Yeah, well, I think you follow like reputable accounts, generally speaking. So
Hey,
I'm not coming at you. I know, like, I'm just saying, there's a lot of people out there on Twitter that, and I went to a Cubs game with some people that were sitting around me, and they seemed like they were against Ohtani, which because he was obviously playing in that game.
hey,
I don't
man.
know. I don't understand the hate on Ohtani. Like, the guy is so dialed in on baseball; it's so obvious. And people are like, how can he not notice the transaction? It seems like Mizuhara, I mean, did a really good job, basically, like, deleting any type of notification on Ohtani's phone for these transfers. Um, and obviously posing as him when he was calling with the bank, on calls with the bank and stuff. And I really do think, like, Ohtani is so, like, this guy is next level focused, that he was so dialed in on baseball. It was just his baseball salary account. It wasn't like his, endorsements and all the other, partnership deals, whatever bank accounts that he has. So it's just one of who knows how many bank accounts. Guy makes a ton of money. He's just so dialed in on baseball. Like, he deferred $700 million basically. I can see him not noticing. Like, I buy that. I maybe I'm gullible, but I kind of buy that he didn't notice the money getting moved around and stuff like that. Because, like, he is a freak. He's so focused on baseball, and there's a reason he's the best. So I don't know. I've been on Otani's side this whole time. I'm always on the let's wait for more information. Especially ever since that Michigan stuff came out last fall. I've been on that side as a fan, and it's frustrating. But
You're definitely talking a lot about Ohtani. Let's move on. It sounds like you're on
it's the biggest. It's the biggest story. It's interesting. It's fascinating.
you on his
I
payroll.
think we had to cover it.
You on the payroll?
I'm not Ben Verlander. Shout out to Ben Verlander, though. He retweeted one of our tweets once, so I like him. But he is a big Ohtani guy. I'm not like that level of Ohtani, but I think you got to appreciate the greatness, man, and realize how great of a player
I
we
know,
have.
but it's like, man, you've been going for like the past, like, I think it's like 8 minutes on Ohtani. Like, man,
I think we got to cover it, man. It's important.
I know. We have to cover it. It's like, man, this guy sounds like it's Derek Jeter reincarnated.
No. Let's get into the week in review. It was a fun week.
It was a lot of
Ohtani
debuts. A lot of debuts, a lot of things going on in the ball. I'll touch on one of the bigger ones though. So Jackson Holliday made his MLB debut. He finally got his first hit today against the Brewers. It was a big series. It's kind of like I kind of want to say the Brewers are the next gen in the NL. I don't want to fully buy in, but I'm starting slowly like to buy in. Like they're Chourio is having a tough start right now. He's kind of on rocky waters on my team right now. We'll see,
But who's been great for them?
Is
Bryce Terang.
Terang's been hitting platoon, but then Baltimore is a youth this year is crazy.
Dude, Baltimore, it's not fair Colton Cowser, you picked him up in fantasy, been absolutely raking. Jackson Holliday hasn't even broken out yet. He just got called up. They're freaky, man. It's not fair. The only thing that you worry about with them is probably like 3 and 4 in the rotation, and maybe like Kimbrel closing out games. Did they win that series? Did they end up winning that series?
Did it win today?
Yeah, did they? Because
they won today. They won today. Cowser hit off. Cowser's OPS is literally insane. Cowser, if we haven't brought it back, but we'll probably bring it back next week. We'll do a team of the week. Cowser's player of the week. He's hitting like 1,000 OPS, and like you said in the preview, all it took was one bad start for one of those players, like one of those outfielders, and whoop-de-doo, you're out. Austin Hayes was struggling. Boom, they popped in Colton Cowser, and like there's nobody safe. Mullins finally went yard today, but they're still so loaded right now that we don't even know they're scary because they'll make a move, and I feel like I said, they're still getting healthy, and we'll talk about it on our news segment we're putting up later with pitching. They're still getting healthy, so it's crazy.
The Brewers won that series though. Brewers won 2 out of 3. So
they won yesterday. I watched the game yesterday.
They ended up winning that one.
It was like 11-8, right?
Yeah, 11-5.
That's right, 11-5. DL got absolutely demolished, but then it wasn't Means, it was Kramer. Sorry guys. Sorry guys. My sister was off, went to bed late last night. Dean Kramer went to I was gonna say went to bed, but I was gonna say he got batted around. Like I said, they need more pitching. I'm still not comfortable that John Means and Kyle Bradish, who are due back soon, can be 2-3 guys. I still feel like they'll be hunting somebody down at the deadline. One more pitcher.
Yeah, Grayson's look good, but he is one of those guys that is high velo. And I saw the tweet you sent me. The high velo guys are getting hurt. Like 8 out of 10 of the highest velocity fastballs last year hurt right now. So we'll just save that for the segment. We got to save it for the segment. Yeah, I'll save it for the segment.
We don't
I think sorry. No, yeah, I was going to say that. What? We keep talking over each other. But I think the biggest story this week was probably the Royals sweeping the Astros. Now, they did lose 2 out of 3 in Citi Field this weekend, so takes a bit of a damper on what they've done, but they've started out on fire the season overall. Their record's 10-6. We were both under. I think the number was like 73.5. The story for them, it's really the pitching. They're third in team ERA with a 3.04, second in starter ERA with a 2.46, 18th in bullpen ERA with a 4.21. So the bullpen's not great.
And you can attribute that to Will Smith, who they acquired in that day. He hasn't been great to close out games, making it a very influx situation who closes games. I've been watching a lot of them. Like I said, I saw them the Astros series, and I think their pitching is sustainable. I do want to say it is.
The Astros series was impressive. They scored on the getaway day on Thursday. They scored 9 runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have Bobby Witt Jr. in that lineup. mean, I said like he could be top 10 in the game on the preview pod, and there was some pushback, but
No, yeah,
he might be top 10 in the game.
he might be even top 5. His savant page is all red.
Yeah, he's
It's
next level.
like he's doing what I expected Julio to do. And I said we should have Julio conversations, but but everybody's kind of quiet on that. And I mean, him, Volpe, and Soto are probably top 3 in the AL MVP race right
now. In Witt, yeah. Julio, I mean, yeah, we can talk about him later. Bobby Witt's hitting 333 average with a 1086 OPS, 4 bombs, 3 stolen bases, and like you said, his baseball savant page it's all red. Yeah, he's a stud. Their starting rotation though has been their anchor. You talk about Cole Reagan's 1.93 ERA in 4 games. I mean, we were like, okay, yes, there is Cy Young hype for him heading into the season, but we didn't buy into it just because the track record wasn't there. But I mean, through 4 starts, he's living up to that hype. He went, I think, 6 scoreless today against the Mets, and then the bullpen ended up losing them the game late. You also have Seth Lugo, 1.45 ERA in 3 starts. Brady Singer, I was out on him in the preview. I'll be honest. I thought it was kind of, maybe the end of an era for him in KC. 0.98 ERA in 3 games. And then they had Alex Marsh with a 4.32 and Michael Walker with a 4 ERA. So really, so far, it's been Reagan, Seth Lugo, the offseason acquisition, and Brady Singer dealing for them. They have coming up this week. Interesting week for them. They go to Chicago for 3, so you want to ideally take all 3. They got Lugo, Singer, and Walker going there, and then on the weekend they're hosting Baltimore in what should be a fun series. So I'm high on them. I don't know if I'm buying in yet for them to win the division because I do think there's some other good teams.
I think their bats are an issue.
Yeah. Let me just pull up some stats here because
MJ Melendez was hitting 300 before the weekend started. He's doing the same. Bobby Witt's doing crazy. Vinny Pasquantino is starting to heat up. He has an OPS of like over 1,000 in the week. My biggest thing is their bats. It's kind of been spotty who's picked up the work in the bats. For example, Michael Garcia started out great. Now he's kind of going down. MJ started great. Now he's going down. But then you guys got Pasquantino doing great. So I just don't think they have enough offense. And I feel like they've beaten up on very bad teams. So,
they did sweep the Astros, and the Astros
we're going to talk about the Astros. I feel like the Astros, like as much as like you want to hit the red button as Drake did this weekend. You could make an argument that for them it's kind of like when we look back at this season, we're going to look at them. Like the addition we see now is going to be a completely different team we're going to see at the end of the year. So
for the Royals or the Astros,
you can make both, but more so for the Astros. I think the Royals are what they are right now is what we're probably going to see for the rest of the year. Because look, they played Minnesota, they lost the Minnesota series, they lost an Orioles series, and then they just got hot and swept the White Sox, and then swept the Astros.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've gotten lucky, and so they'll probably sweep the White Sox again in Chicago, and then probably split, or not even split, win 1 out of 2 against Baltimore. So I feel like they've had a very favorable schedule, and like I said, they're just better than not better than expected, but like we kind of saw it coming. We just think they're going to be this good that they could be competing with the big guys.
Yeah, it feels like Bobby Witt and Vinny P are going to have to carry that lineup for the entire season. And just a lot to ask for. Bobby Witt's a superstar for sure, but it's still, for him to be this good all season.
We're gonna put an asterisk on Houston.
Also, Minnesota is hitting 185 as a team. That's
I'm telling you, Minnesota stinks. Like people are like, oh my god, how is it, bro? Just listen to the freaking pod. If you listen to this podcast, you'd be okay. Like
I feel good about fading Minnesota in the preview pod.
I had sorry. I love Joe, love him to death, but I had to. He has his Timberwolves.
He's got a natty anyway. He got Denver won the natty yesterday in hockey, so he's fine.
Oh, they did? They won the natty in hockey?
Yeah.
That But you see, it's college hockey. Who gives a crap about college hockey?
People care about it.
I know people care, but it's just like
I'm not a hockey guy.
There's levels to this. There's levels.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Houston. We have that on the rundown. They're struggling. Now, I will say they did pick up a great series win this weekend over Texas, but like we said, they got swept by the Royals in ugly fashion, and they're 6-11 overall to start the season.
That whole division needs pitching, except for Seattle.
Yeah, but Seattle. I mean, Seattle's not playing good ball right now at all.
Because they can't hit. They had so many opportunities to win the series of the Cubs. They had bases loaded at the end of the game, but they can't put up runs. And the Rangers, I mean, they can't pitch. I mean, go look at them. They literally their games are they're literally scoring 10 runs, or they're either putting up 10 runs or giving up 10 runs.
I mean, yeah, look at the rotation without DeGrom, Molly, and Scherzer. Yeah, it's horrible. But anyway, back to the Astros. The issue right now with them and why they're off to this 6-11 start is very clearly the pitching. They're 29th in team ERA with a 5.32, and it's more so the guys that aren't there right now than the guys that are right now currently on their IL starting pitching wise. Luis Garcia, Lance McCullers Jr., Jose Urquidy, Framber Valdez, and Justin Verlander. The only guy on that list that's probably going to return this year is Justin Verlander. He's got shoulder inflammation. He's ramping back up. Framber is a big question mark. He went down with elbow inflammation this week. We'll talk about him later in the segment.
They're saying Verlander's back on Friday potentially.
Okay, so he's coming back soon. But their current rotation that they're running right now is Christian Javier, Spencer Arrighetti, Hunter Brown, who had one of the worst starts in MLB history on Thursday against the Royals. JP France and Ronel Blanco, who's on my fantasy team. He's been great so far through 3 starts. But it's tough pitching wise for them. The hitting numbers are great. They're 3rd in average. OPS wise, they're 4th. Jose Altuve had, I think, like 2 or 3 home runs today. They're 4th in home runs overall. Like, I'm not worried about that lineup whatsoever. It's just the pitching health right now. The bullpen's great too. I mean,
They almost blew the game today.
I know, but I still think the bullpen is a strength for Houston.
I mean, yeah. I just feel like they just need to get better.
Are you worried about Houston?
No.
I'm not worried about Houston at all. I'm not worried.
I think people are surprised that they're in the cellar. I'd be more concerned of Seattle.
I am concerned about Seattle.
And yet again, sipping too much of the Seattle pitching Kool-Aid and not, they didn't do anything to that lineup again. And then Julio's dog water right now, just to keep it frank, keep it a buck.
He's been horrible. I think it's funny how the Mariners traded away Eugenio Suarez because he led the league in strikeouts last year. They wanted to cut down on the strikeouts. They're still 3rd in strikeouts in baseball across the league. Yeah. They didn't get any better in that category. Julio Rodriguez, look at his numbers right now. He's hitting 186 with a 441 OPS. No home runs, 2 stolen bases. This was my MVP pick. I picked him to have a 30-30 season. I thought he could have had a 40-40 season. He's so streaky at this point. I mean, we saw him get hot in August last year, and he struggled in the first half. But I don't even think he was an all-star last season in Seattle. And I don't know, like what's the deal with this guy? And look at his Savant page. It's grim.
Yeah,
it's grim.
We'll see. I mean, it's still early. I'm just very concerned about the construction of those hitters.
The lineup is weak, man.
Hey, Alfonso Davies is having a great season, though.
Okay, he was an all-star last year. Never mind, I was wrong on that. But he was barely an all-star.
Yeah, he was name value.
Can we talk, since we're in the NL West, can we just give a shout-out? Because, the only thing we talk about this team
Oakland?
Is the relocation. Can we give them – they won 2 or 3 in Texas, and then they went home and won 2 or 3 against Washington. I mean, can we just round of applause? They're actually playing good ball. Paul Blackburn, 3 starts, 0 ERA. He's going to be a name at the trade deadline. I tweeted that out. Lawrence Butler is finally turning it on for them.
Hey, they're the Luton Town of the MLB.
They are Luton Town. They scored 6 runs in the 6th inning today to win.
Mark Kotze is doing his Rob Edwards, Paul Blackburn, a.k.a. Ross Barkley. Let's get it. Let's get it. I vibe with it. I was watching the game. They got Mason Miller. Hopefully he doesn't tear a ligament in that elbow. We don't see him throwing 104, 103, just high heat. All he throws is fastballs.
Fastball slider. The slider is wipeout too.
Yeah, no, but that fastball is unhittable. How do you hit 104?
You don't.
They're
They're a game back in the AL West right now, man.
Hey.
Can you imagine in their last season in Oakland somehow, and this is ridiculous, this is not going to happen, but they somehow make a push for the playoffs, get into the playoffs, win the World Series in their last season in Oakland. Just it's not going to, it's like it'd be 10 times crazier than Leicester City winning the Premier League, I think. But that would be that thought crossed my mind this week, is what I'll say. They're not even in a wild card spot right now, but
let's talk about our new segment. You ready?
Is there anything else? I mean, you want to talk about standings wise? Guardians are in first. Yankees are in first. Yankees had a good week. I wish they won today. Tough loss in Cleveland in extras, but they won 2-3 against Miami, won 2-3 in Cleveland.
Getaway day.
Yeah, Atlanta's in first. Milwaukee and Pittsburgh are tied for Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh had a good week. They got a split in Philly in a 4-game set, and then split against Detroit in a 2-game set. Solid week. And then you also have the Dodgers. They're playing good. They're not even really hitting their strides yet, and they're still in first place, 11-6. And there was one other note I wanted to say, but I can't remember. The Rockies are horrible. I mean, that's one thing.
Then we got a new segment.
Can we just the NL Central?
Yeah, it's good.
Might be one of the best. Might be one of the best divisions in the sport.
Are you surprised?
No, I think this was something we talked about in the preview. I think we kind of hyped that division up.
On you, man. The on you, big dog. What you want to talk about?
We can get into your next segment.
So because of what's been going on this year, I decided to start the pitching graveyard, where we do eulogies. Because it's truly sad. We're losing so many good pitchers this year because of elbow injuries, and so I have made a list. This is the injury update / the pitching graveyard. So Eduardo Rodriguez, he is now experiencing shoulder tightness in his recent bullpen session. So actually getting Jordan Montgomery may have been a good idea. Spencer Strider got surgery.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that's tough for the D-backs because 2 big offseason acquisitions, Erod and Montgomery, were hyping them up, and they're not healthy. Erod's not healthy. Montgomery's healthy, but he's not. I don't think he's made a start yet. He's still building up.
He's due this week, I think.
Yeah. He just hasn't pitched.
Strider's out for the year.
Yeah.
He opted
for the internal. He opted for the internal brace surgery and not the Tommy John, but he's still out for the season.
You talked about Framber. Framber had a soreness. I mean,
he hit the IL.
Justin Steele's back soon, maybe. Verlander, like we talked earlier, back soon. Bradish and Means, they're doing rehab starts and bullpen. And then we lost also Bobby Miller with shoulder inflammation. So
I felt that one. He's on my team.
Walker Buehler, your team's not doing too hot right now. It's a tough year out there.
No. Well, my pitching is outstanding. My hitting is abysmal right now. I probably have the best pitching staff in the league, but I can't. I can't. My team can't hit the broadside of barn.
Let's relax that. We own the best team. We have the best rotation in baseball. No, nothing touches my rotation. My team.
I'm first in strikeouts, second in quality starts, second in wins.
Those are numbers. I'm telling you. Once we get hot, once we're getting going, we got Castillo.
Let me give you the numbers. Let me give you the facts.
I don't need numbers. I'm just saying.
Trying to put the dentist without numbers.
I'm just telling you. I'm taking Luis Castillo, Max Fried. Max Fried's back. Had a great start on Friday. Luis Castillo pitched decent today, and those are my 2 big horses. Then we got Brady Singer and Crochet. That's all you need.
You got you wrote on here Walker Buehler is rehabbing, 3rd rehab start. I feel like he's been rehabbing for the past 3 seasons.
It's very concerning because the velo supposedly is down 3 miles an hour on that fastball. He's hovering at 94, 95 when his fastball was 97, 98.
Yeah, that's just not good news. It's not good news.
But he should be back. And then some hitters updates. Carlos Correa is on the IL with the intercostal strain. And then the White Sox pretty much lost their big three, Eloy, Robert, and Moncada. Moncada's on the 60. Eloy's doing his annual IL stop. And then we talked about Robert last week. So that's pretty much it, what we got. I mean, Jackie Robinson Day is tomorrow. So is the Boston Marathon tomorrow?
Yeah, it's Patriots Day.
So, so we got 10 a.m. baseball for you Central Fiends. Or is it 11? Or is it 11?
I can check. They always start early. Yeah, it's a 10 a.m. start. 10 a.m. start Eastern Central. So 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, oh God.
They're playing the
Cleveland, the Guardians.
The Guardians.
And that's the perfect segue to the bet to glory this week. So, given an update this week, William actually won his bet, so he's 1-0 this year. The Padres won 2 out of 3. They came back Monday night after being 8-0 down, which I watched that whole game against the Cubs. Pretty remarkable comeback how the Cubs just gave that game away. And my pick was the Pirates versus Detroit, and then Pirates blew the game late. Bednar blew the save on Wednesday, right? Or Tuesday?
Yeah, no, it might have been Tuesday.
Tuesday,
they were winning, and your bet was about to cash, and then Bednar blew the save. I did feel bad for you on that one.
Well, it happens. I mean, that's just I just learned from Epi. Just don't bet a lot,
Don't chase your losses, even though that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah. So I got actually a story. It's pretty funny. So you're gonna laugh. I saved it for the pod. So Friday night I went to the game, and so on the Hard Rock. So Hard Rock's only legal in Florida for sports betting. You can bet the pitches. You can bet pitch type, the mile an hour. Like you can do like we're literally there, and deciding, okay, is this pitch gonna be under 89 miles an hour or over 89?
That is insane.
And so it was like the third inning, and my buddy, he's a Braves fan, and he's like, "Yo, bro, we were just talking about Ozuna." I'm like, "Man, that Ozuna guy, he's doing crazy good." I'm like, "Yeah, man, he knows ball." And he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna take a bet right now and bet Ozuna to hit a home run tonight." And one of the
did?
No, he did.
Oh, okay.
And so he ends up not getting a home run his first, his second, and then the third plate appearance comes, and then his other buddy who was sitting next to us was like, "You see, what's going to happen is he's not going to get a home run now, and then when you're on your way back up to Fort Lauderdale, you're going to be hearing the game, hearing the telecast on the radio, and you're going to hear Ozuna home run." So literally, 8th inning ends, and we left around the bottom of the 8th. And
left early? That's a cardinal sin.
Yeah, well, everybody left. Everybody was leaving. My friends were leaving.
So I always stay. If it's 30-0, man, I'm there to the end.
I understand, but
man, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I'm disappointed.
So we go. So I get back in the car. I drive back home, and then I get an alert on my phone. 10 o'clock. Ozuna home run. I texted him, and he went double or nothing on the last one, and he hit.
Oh God. We do not condone this. We do not.
It was crazy.
We do not. Sorry, we do not approve of this.
He was going Ozuna was seeing dead red. Like he was probably the hottest hitter right now. Like he had bases loaded. He had bases loaded in the 6th inning or 7th inning. It was the 7th, and he got so close. Like he was missing pitches, but super close.
He 7 home runs, tied for the lead with Tyler O'Neill. Look who's in third. I mean, there's a big tie for third, but you got Mike Trout right there. Can I say Pete Alonso 6 home runs, Aaron Judge 3. That was one of my picks in the props before the season. A, I had Pete Alonso to lead the National League in home runs, and B, I had Pete Alonso to have more home runs than Aaron Judge. Looks good so far. Now, of course, Judge is on my team. He's been not great, but anyways, you want to do our. What's your pick this week? Yeah, what you got?
I got Red Sox winning the series versus the Guardians. That's my pick.
Okay.
They got
why? Reasoning?
Red Sox have Whitlock, Cutter Crawford, and Hoke up on the mound, and they've been the hottest three pitchers for the Sox. Guardians are pitching. Had a tough series this weekend. They used a lot of pen today. They used a lot of pen yesterday.
Yeah,
Clase's probably going to be unavailable tomorrow because Clase pitched last night, I believe.
He blew a save today. Yeah.
Yeah. So they played 3 games in 2 days. They have to travel to Boston. It's an 11 a.m. start. It's also Patriots Day. Like, there's just so much going for Boston not to lose tomorrow. And I'll probably say all this, and then everybody will be like, "Oh, they lost the Monday game." But Xavier Curry's pitching. Tanner Beebe. I can't remember the other guy that's pitching, but it's the back half of the rotation. I'm taking Boston.
Set, yeah.
I'm taking Boston to win the series. You just
Okay.
gotta win 2 or 3. You gotta win 3. Easily to win tomorrow, and you just gotta win 2. Oh, and woo!
What happened?
Mookie almost went yard. He literally got all of that ball, but that ball just got caught up. So,
Yeah, Mookie is next level, man.
so
okay.
that's my pick. I'm taking Boston to win the series. I'm not going sweeps an aggressive pick.
Boston to win the 4-game set against Cleveland to start the week. Okay, my pick, I am going a West Coast again. I think this is going to be the Mariners get-right series. They got Kirby, Gilbert, and Miller going against Montas, Green, and Abbott. They're playing the Reds Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The reason I'm going with this pick, and I think I'm going to start fading teams that have to travel out west and play the next day. The Reds played against the White Sox this weekend. They swept them. That's okay. I mean, the White Sox are horrible. The game finished this afternoon, and they're flying out to Seattle, and they have to play tomorrow night against Seattle. First of all, Frankie Montas, good first start, bad second start. Don't know how to feel about him. Green, I'm not super high on him. Abbott, he's good. But I think this is going to be Seattle's get right series. I think Julio Rodriguez plays well. And I think just betting against the travel. The Mariners were at home this past weekend playing the Cubs. They lost 2 or 3, but they're staying in Seattle. They're sleeping in their own beds. The Reds are traveling all across the country. It's a tough spot going from the Central Time Zone to the West Coast Pacific Time Zone, and I'm fading I'm fading the travel of it all, and I'm going with the Mariners to get right against the Reds. We don't have the odds for these picks yet. They're not up yet, but
offense travels, though. I mean, offense travels. That's the thing. And the Reds did not have to use a lot of the pen this weekend. So,
yeah, it's just baseball doesn't make any sense. So,
some series to note. Got some big boy series to start the week. Atlanta, Houston starts tomorrow. Chicago, Arizona also starts front half. Cincinnati, Seattle, and San Diego, Milwaukee.
Yeah. And then you got Arizona, SF, Texas, Atlanta. Atlanta's got a fun week.
Atlanta's doing the Texas swing.
Yeah. The Yankees, fun series going up to Toronto for a 3-game set Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's always fun playing against those guys in their new stadium. The new stadium actually, well, not new stadium, but the renovated stadium. It looks nice. It looks good.
What's the afternoon set? The second set of the week.
Then they go to Tampa, or not. They're at home against Tampa for 3. It doesn't look like Pepio is scheduled to start in that series, unfortunately. But we haven't gotten to see Tampa this year, so first time facing them, second time facing Toronto. So we'll see. I mean, we got your guy Rodon going on Tuesday.
He's not my guy.
And then Stroman going on Wednesday. So the Yankees are good, but I don't know how to feel about the rotation right now.
I don't know. I'm more concerned about the lineup. And I was having this discussion where it's just like, and one of the guys that was at the game, he lives in New York, and he has season tickets for the Yankees. He goes to all the Yankee games, and he was telling he thinks that Judge is going to be first base.
I mean, they're running him in center field right now.
But then if you have Jason Dominguez coming back next month, and then Spencer Jones is kind of a bit of untouchable, there's not enough spots there's 4 guys for 3 spots.
And Rizzo's been not good.
Oh, so now you're going to come on my train, on the Rizzo train, and the Jorge Polanco train. I was like, oh, yeah, Oswaldo Cabrera is not going to have a season as good as Jorge Polanco.
Last time I checked, we're like 20 games in. Not even.
That's whatever. That's just whole excuse. Oh, come on.
It's early. But Rizzo's not been great. I mean,
it's 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, that's not that long. That's nothing. I mean, do you care if a guy struggles for 2 weeks in July versus 2 weeks to start the season? It's magnified at the start of the season. So
it's just depends where I'm
Rizzo, I don't know. He's okay, but the rest of the lineup's been great. I mean, Soto, Glaber's been bad. Glaber's been really bad. But Volpe's really been carrying that offense. It's been fun. I mean,
Volpe All-Star. Volpe All-Star.
Volpe starting shortstop All-Star. Yeah.
Get on X and put it on Twitter. We're gonna push that so hard. No Diddy.
Anyways, I think that's it. You got anything else? Quick one this week, but fun.
That's it. There's not much. We'll bring back Team of the Month next week, right? We'll have Team of the Month ready next week, or
Team of the Week, not Team of the Month.
We'll have Team of the Month because we'll have a month of baseball then.
No, I think we should just do at the end of April. Do the Team of March/April.
That's cool.
It hasn't been a month of because the season started on the 20. Opening day was the 28th. Next Sunday will be the 21st.
That was 20th, 21st because San Diego.
If you count the Korea series, which
they matter. They're on the schedule. So hey.
All right. Well, that was fun. We'll see what the week has for us in store. Maybe the A's stay hot. Stay tuned for. I'm going to post the stock up, stock down graphic tomorrow afternoon. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Locked In Sports Pod. We appreciate you listening, and we'll be back next week, same time, Sunday, 7 Eastern.
Unless noted,
but I think we're going to try to keep it consistent this year. I feel like this time works for us, right?
It works. The only thing is if there's a sporting event or something. I was going to ask to push it back at the Mariners Cubs game with the extras, which it was about to before Ty France went into the DP.
Yeah, or if the Masters was good, but it wasn't. So I think we're going to try to keep it consistent. So anyway, thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out.
Peace.